All right, so I've taken the Lancer and I've thrown it in the freezer, and it's been in there for about 2.5, 3 days now. The first thing about working with the Lancer and any of these ships is that if you notice, there's always like these little laser guns and everything on there. You got to be real careful when you're manhandling it. Those things will just snap right off. In fact, it may even be a good idea just to take these things, clip them off, and find some tiny magnets and stick them on, and just call it soup. So the first thing with the Lancer, I did see a video on somebody that actually did a complete breakdown. The entire thing is held together. There's a top half and a bottom half, and it's held together by these engine nacelle kind of brackets. So those have to come off. So it does take a little bit of strength, and I guess you're just going to see me basically working my way through it. This is going to be pretty horrifying if you love your models, so just be aware of that. I'm going to stick a screwdriver in here where the nacelle housing is, and basically that right there is a glue joint which may be able to come free. So stick it in and twist. If you hear a little bit of plastic cracking, don't worry. That is actually the glue cracking, and that's actually a good thing. If it doesn't come off, then I hate to say it, but basically you have to try again, and it's going to have to go back inside the freezer. There we go. So that's the first one, and you can see where the glue was right there that broke, and maybe this one will be easier. There we go. Unlikely, but there we go. So now the next thing is these nozzles are held on. There's a little bit of plastic coming out like in a stud, and we're going to have to end up removing the stud anyway, so it's okay if this one breaks. The thing about opening up a new ship is that you never know what you're going to want and what you're going to keep, so you have to be completely comfortable with basically just, if something breaks off, you may have to patch it up with green stuff or just glue it. So I'm going to work it, see if it'll come free, but if the tab comes off, it's not a really big deal. Notice I'm not using a hammer. I'm just using my screwdriver. It's enough. That's enough force. And that went flying. And there you can see the tab and where the glue was. I'll have to pick that piece up later on, hopefully before my dog finds it and eats it. Okay, so that one looks like the top half of the plastic tab broke off, and you can see that there's a white piece of plastic there. And so the white is basically where it's separated. So long as you have a way to realign it, it's okay. We're actually going to drill through this entire thing with an actual drill bit, and through the engine nacelle itself. And there's a little trick I'll show you with that. I want this to be able to line it up, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world if you don't keep these things. So now I can actually get into the ship itself and start opening it up. Now, the last time I did this, I kind of tried to go through the underside. Basically, the two halves The bottom half actually attaches somewhere inside of there. That's actually the seam, and there's actually a number of plastic studs inside of here which make it extremely difficult to open. Now this whole thing heats up, and in theory what's supposed to happen when you freeze it is that it makes the glue brittle and weakens the glue itself. If you basically find yourself struggling with the plastic, the whole thing's going to heat up as you're working with it. Just throw it back in the freezer and try again in a few days. And I know it's frustrating to say, oh well, you know, I've got to wait a few more days and then take off a little bit more at a time, but there it is. So I'm going to try going in through the engine nacelle. There's actually a post here and a post here on the inside, which are tiny and easy enough to break, and I can use that as my in for getting into like the rest of the ship. So you're going to want to be real careful with the laser guns again. Looks like we're good. And there we've popped the first post, like that. So now that I'm in over there, I can actually just work my way in. If I feel like I can stick a larger screwdriver in there, that's even better because you get more leverage and you're not applying a lot of direct pressure to the edge of the plastic. So this makes it a little bit easier, and I'm going to try to work my way towards the next post of the nacelle, and I just heard it snap. If the posts snap, it's okay. Usually they survive. Actually, if we look inside of there, that post is still intact. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, that's actually fine. So now I'll do the next nacelle. And then with a twisting motion, now that I got the screwdriver in there, it looks like it's opened up. So that's the first post. It looks like it's intact. And with my large screwdriver, I'll go in. I may have to use the small one to keep the whole thing open while I insert the large one. Kind of like a little pry bar right there. And there we go. That's that second nacelle. That one did snap. If you feel really strongly about it, when you put the whole thing back together, you can either glue it or you can use magnets. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to open this thing up again once I insert the fiber optics, so that'll just be a glue job. Okay, so now that I've got the nacelles open, I need to open up the main body. The trick is there's like a number of posts all throughout the main body itself, like 2 in the front here, 2 in the back here, 1 over here, and then 1 over here, so maybe 6 posts total. So you'll notice that when I stick the screwdriver in, I can apply a little bit of pressure, which is okay for getting into the body. I didn't go this way last time. I actually went ahead and used my screwdriver and chiseled my way in back here through one of the main posts. I'm not sure that was the best method. I did try going in through here, and this plastic is real fragile, and that'll bend. So basically, if you can go in through a place where you're not going to have a lot of contact with the edges of the plastic, that would be, in some ways, the best. Looks like I was just able to jab this in this time. And that popping sound was at least 1 or 2 of the things opening up. So now that you see that I've basically broken it right there, I'm going to take this thing and actually twist it to open it up. Let's see if I can find a spot and twist where there's some resistance to it, and then use that as an angle for opening up. There's another post. And there's another post. So I heard those come free, and you can actually see the engine housing is beginning to open up right there. And now I'm going to go for the far, I guess, port side posts. So I'll find a post there, and I'll twist until it opens. I can feel me actually like contacting the post. That means I'm pretty close to where I can pop it open, and there it goes. So that's another post, and then back in this corner now. And all I'm doing is finding those corners and then twisting the screwdriver so that the flat blade actually opens it up that way. So that sounds pretty good for now, but it's just not opening up yet. So I have to find some more angles. And there's another post. And you can actually see that I'm getting through it now. And don't worry about breaking the posts, simply because, one, you'll probably have to glue the whole thing back together, and two, some of the posts have to go anyway. Alright, so that feels like that was all of them, and there we are. And you'll notice that in this case, it looks like the only posts I ever broke were on this nacelle, and then there's these two smaller posts over here as well. I won't worry about those guys. In fact, what you're going to end up doing is cutting away those posts so that you have room for some of the fiber optics. But that's pretty much how you separate and open the Lancer Pursuit Craft. Notice that every single time I was mindful of where these laser guns were, just to try to like make sure that it didn't touch them. So that's how you open one up.